It's great man. It's great boxer. It's Olympic champion.
Oleksandr Usyk's first words after sparring with Anthony Joshua carried a tone of calm assurance, an unmistakable mix of respect, composure, and quiet confidence. Even in the heat of a sparring session with a heavyweight powerhouse like Joshua, Usyk showed the same poise that defines him in real championship fights. He acknowledged Joshua's strength, experience, and physical presence, yet his reflections made one thing crystal clear. Usyk's focus is and always will be on precision, timing, and strategy. This wasn't just sparring. It was a mental battle, a technical test, and a masterclass in elite-level composure. From start to finish, Usyk's reaction sent a message not only to Joshua, but to anyone stepping into the ring with the British star, especially Jake Paul.
Size doesn't matter. If size matter, king of animal would be elephant.
Yeah.
But if you wanna, you first your skill, your mind.
Anthony Joshua's size isn't just intimidating. It's paired with skill, power, and tactical intelligence. Usyk's experience reveals that fighting AJ requires more than hype or bravado. It requires discipline, timing, patience, and razor-sharp decision-making. Against someone like Joshua, Jake Paul faces a danger.
I get hit a few times, he gets hit a few times, he gets hit more, gets hit a bit more.
Danger far beyond anything social media has prepared him for. Usyk highlighted the truth most beginners overlook. Boxing isn't purely about strength. It's about timing and mental sharpness. Joshua doesn't simply punch hard. He analyzes, adapts, responds, and calculates. Every motion carries intention. Every exchange is measured.
In camp, living in camp, training with him day in, day out. And it made a big difference in the fights. I think he knows that the way that he's going to improve is time in the gym and also...
For Jake Paul, this sparring session should serve as a severe warning. Misjudging Joshua's rhythm or stepping in at the wrong moment could lead to catastrophic results. Anthony Joshua's own approach during sparring revealed another layer to the equation. His ring intelligence is built over years of elite competition. He has learned to trade shots.
It's only different. Sparring, you're there to learn. So the guy you knocked out in sparring, he's understand, okay, I did this silly move, that's how I got knocked out. So I'm gonna have to stop doing these silly moves.
Strategically rather than recklessly, making him one of the most dangerous heavyweights to share the ring with. AJ's timing, his ability to read small mistakes, and his calm decision-making mean that in a real fight, the consequences of one wrong move could be devastating. Joshua isn't just a...
It wouldn't affect what I think of the fight. Getting dropped, once again, it's not the end of the world. People get dropped in fights and still win them. Getting dropped in sparring, it is what it is. I mean, you just got to be able to dust off and kind of keep going.
Puncher. He is a disciplined, calculated, and relentless competitor. Eddie Hearn reinforced this point clearly. According to him, Joshua's edge comes from more than just talent. It stems from years of relentless dedication, training sessions that push past limits, and a lifestyle.
Because if Anthony Joshua puts 10-ounce gloves on and gets in a boxing ring and Jake Paul is in the other corner, this won't last long. This will last as long as Josh wants it to last.
Style shaped around becoming better every day. Joshua doesn't just lift weights or throw punches. He studies the sport, sharpens his technique, and treats boxing like a craft. Jake Paul, stepping into the ring with someone who has spent nearly 2 decades perfecting every detail, faces a monumental...
Listen, we can all joke, but nobody wants any permanent damage to happen to Jake Paul. But if Anthony Joshua hits Jake Paul with the right hand he hit Francis Ngannou with, he could brown bread him.
Challenge. AJ's improvements are methodical and deliberate, shaping him into far more than a heavyweight with knockout power. Derek Chisora added another essential point from a fighter's perspective. Sparring isn't just about throwing punches, it's about mental adjustments.
I'm gonna break his face, I'm gonna break his body up, I'm gonna stomp all over him. That's my mentality, right? That's a fighter's mentality, and I know what's in my heart, I know what's in my mind, and I'm here to compete. I'm here to prove myself that I'm the better fighter.
Every mistake becomes a lesson. Joshua approaches sparring like a chess match, not a brawl. He doesn't waste movement. He analyzes patterns, sets traps, and forces reactions. For Jake Paul, this should be alarming. Underestimating Joshua's intelligence inside the ring is a mistake that could cost him the fight long before the first punch lands. Experience in the ring isn't optional. It is the foundation of survival. Lawrence Okolie spoke about the mental resilience a fighter must have. Being dropped or hurt in sparring isn't the end of the world. In fact, it's part of the process.
No, I don't back Jack Paul. That means, what is it you're doing? You have to smoke him in 3 rounds. The same way he did in Ngannou. How many rounds was in Ngannou?
2, second round.
Exactly. So he has to smoke.
Fighters reset, regroup, and come back sharper. Usyk understands this deeply. His mindset after sparring Joshua showed adaptability and poise, proving that a champion's mentality is just as important as physical skill. This level of composure is crucial in high-level heavyweight competition. Tony Bellew emphasized another angle, the sheer physical dominance Joshua carries. Sparring with someone like AJ gives a fighter first-hand insight into his overwhelming power and control. Against a physically smaller or less experienced opponent, Joshua dictates the entire pace.
Anthony Joshua, who's now 5 inches bigger than you, maybe more, or 4 or 5 inches, and about 100 pounds heavier. You just don't go from there right up to there. I don't believe it. And I won't believe it until the two of them got 10-ounce gloves on in a boxing ring. Because if Anthony Joshua puts 10-ounce gloves on and gets in a boxing ring and Jake Paul is in the other corner, this won't happen.
Pace of the fight. Usyk's sparring experience allowed him to feel how Joshua manages distance, applies pressure, and uses his size as both an offensive weapon and a defensive shield. Bellew's perspective underlines a truth. Jake Paul must acknowledge, Joshua's physicality alone can end a fight before strategy even becomes a factor. Sam Jones zeroed in on Joshua's power. Sparring with AJ offers a rare chance to study the most dangerous aspect of his arsenal, his knockout ability. It allows fighters like Usyk to assess timing, spacing, and defensive strategy. Joshua doesn't just hit hard.
This is a 1-round job because AJ, even though he's past his best, even though he's seen better days, he throws a nice 1-2 down the middle. He's got a nice bit of distance, and fake Paul can't fight. He just can't. I don't care what anybody tells me. He can't fucking fight. He lost to Tommy Fury for crying out loud.
Hard. He hits with purpose. Experiencing this during sparring helps someone like Usyk build a tactical response in real time. It shows why respect, awareness, and intelligent planning are essential when sharing the ring with an elite puncher. Usyk's composure after sparring reflected another essential truth. Elite boxing isn't only physical, it's profoundly psychological. AJ's intensity, focus, and mental toughness create an atmosphere that forces fighters to raise their level. Understanding a fighter's mindset is just as important as defending his punches. Joshua's desire to dominate, his discipline in training, and his unwavering confidence give him a
I don't believe to fight Anthony Joshua. It's not like he's beaten, 4 or 5, top-line heavyweights, other heavyweights. I don't believe he's boxed any heavyweights.
Psychological advantage before the first bell even rings. Chisora later expanded on this by pointing out that Joshua has no room for extended battles when he can end fights early. His comparison to previous opponents illustrated how AJ's technique and power can finish bouts before they evolve. Usyk learned from this sparring session how Joshua imposes himself, controls pace, and forces reactions. These lessons are crucial for tactical adaptation, understanding when to move, when to counter, and when to stay at range. Bellew returned to the topic of physical advantage.
Going to win this fight by knockout. You would think I'm absolutely crazy, right? But the thing is, it can happen. 10-ounce gloves, heavyweight, Jake Paul can punch hard. But do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not, mate. Anthony Joshua is an absolute beast, an unbelievable, highly skilled, highly trained, highly experienced professional boxer with power in both hands, and he's really good at
advantage, pointing out that height, reach, and weight shape fight dynamics. Usyk's calm reflection after sparring showed that he understands how to measure timing and distance against a larger opponent. This is what makes Usyk special. He studies, adjusts, and prepares mentally for elite-level challenges. Carl Froch brought in another reality check. Jake Paul has never faced someone of Joshua's caliber. Going from influencer-level competition to elite heavyweight boxing is not bravery, it's reckless. Froch pointed out that Usyk's sparring experience gives him invaluable insight into power, timing, and decision-making that
Jake Paul, that's all I can say. We saw what Anthony Joshua had done to Francis Ngannou. He went out there and iced him in a couple of rounds. A guy coming from a different discipline. Well, this kid's coming from another level. You know, white-collar boxing in 2018, gone through the mill, and the only boxer really that he's actually boxed, a legitimate boxer he got beat by, and that was in Tommy Fury. Now
Jake Paul lacks entirely. Usyk's first words after sparring reveal an analytical mindset, proving how essential mental preparation is at this level. Duke McKenzie added to the discussion by highlighting the massive experience gap. Joshua is a seasoned, heavy-hitting fighter with world-class pedigree. Jake Paul is not. Usyk's sparring session demonstrated the gap in timing, movement, and technique that inexperienced fighters rarely understand. Duke's point is simple. Preparation, ring IQ, and respect for size matter just as much as talent. Tawny Jeff spoke about Jake Paul's hypothetical.
This is the new Anthony Joshua.
I like this. I like this. Listen, so you hear the likes of what Wilder has to say, Fury has to say, White has to say. These men are raw. You're thinking, boy, now must
hypothetical threat, but made it clear that raw power means nothing against someone like Joshua. Usyk's sparring allowed him to analyze Joshua's timing, defensive awareness, and ability to read opponents. This is what separates elite fighters from strong athletes. Spencer Oliver emphasized that Joshua's efficiency is lethal. One mistake, one wrong step, one misjudged angle, and the fight is over. Usyk used sparring to study how Joshua manages power, movement, and pressure. These are lessons Jake Paul has never experienced in any fight before. Johnny Nelson wrapped up the broader picture by capturing the intensity around Joshua. Sparring isn't just physical, it's emotional and psychological warfare. Usyk experienced firsthand how a champion thinks, adapts, and communicates under pressure. After absorbing insights from all these voices, Chisora, Bellew, Froch, McKenzie, Jeff, Oliver, Nelson, it becomes clear how monumental this sparring session was for Usyk. Every observation highlights Joshua's strength, intelligence, and mental discipline. Usyk's first words show a fighter who is learning, adapting, and staying composed. For fans, this offers a rare glimpse into how champions prepare and why respect is earned in the ring. So now the question is yours. Can Usyk take these lessons and turn them into a flawless performance? Or will Joshua's size and power be too much on fight night? Drop your predictions in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe for more elite boxing breakdowns you won't find anywhere else.